Okay, we're gonna look at countering the single leg with a variation to the 10-finger guillotine, okay? So when my partner goes to shoot in on a single leg, I'm using my right arm as a down block. At the same time I'm using my arm as a down block, we're gonna set up the choke. So, but before we go, this is coming off of the same stance. So if I have my right leg forward, he's gonna have his left leg forward. We're in a straight line here. So I know that he's gonna look to pick up a single. This lead hand, I'm gonna use as a down block. So my elbow points up, my hand's gonna point down, and I use that to block. At the same time, get my hand under his chin and then start to set up my choke. The variation to this is not your traditional 10-finger where you're going here like this. I'm butterflying my hands, okay? So when we're here and he goes to shoot his takedown, I drop my hand in front of his shoulder here, okay? So my forearm blocks his shoulder. My chest is gonna go over his head and I'm gonna look to connect my hands. When I connect my hands, Jose, just lift up your right arm, okay? Lift it all the way up to the ceiling so they can see the grip. Perfect, okay? I'm butterflying my hands like this, okay? And we'll go back. So now from here, I'm pulling his head into my hip and I'm pinching nice and tight. So this is more of a compression. So it's not like a carotid artery choke, we're compressing from here. My hip is gonna drive forward. As I drive my hip forward, I close my elbows, I pull this butterfly grip into his neck, driving his chin into his chest, and then finishing the choke. So that's one. If he starts to fight my hands, because right now he has a single leg, if he starts to fight my hands, I wanna get his hands to the mat. So I'm gonna step back, slide, and snap his hands to the mat. Once I snap his hands to the mat, I'm gonna step back up, drive. As I drive, I bring my head towards his hip, and I start to pull and then sink my weight down to finish the choke. So I wanna keep my elbows in between my knees and not let him rotate out. So it's important that my elbows stay to the outside of his ears here. So again, here he goes to shoot. Look, if I keep my hand on top or over his shoulder, nothing's gonna happen. So let's go back for a second. So my hand and my elbow stays by my hip. So when he goes to shoot, my elbow goes up and I block by his shoulder, okay? I'm gonna drive my chest over, my hand's underneath his chin, and I take my second hand, I place it over my wrist, so we butterfly our hands from this position. My elbow is gonna pull tight, and I'm gonna pinch his head towards my hip. Now from here, I drive my hip forward, I'm bringing my hip in towards his head, so his chest, or his chin goes to his chest, and then I finish the first choke there. If he fights the hands, I step back, snap down, so his hands hit the mat, and then I start to walk back forward, sit my weight down. So now I'm sinking in this position, driving my chest into his head, his chin into his chest, and then finishing the choke from there. Okay, but the grip looks like this. Just lift up that right arm. I butterfly my hands, keeping my elbows closed. So it's a variation. I'm not going here, and I'm pulling and I'm slicing here as I drive my chest into his head.